today. Going over to the political part podcast, you have Vivek and Steven Crowder on white conservatives always being bullied against and not speaking up. Now, this comes to us thanks to Vivek's Twitter profile, in which he says, quote, "I'll say it. The fact that white conservatives have been tricked into thinking they can't speak on certain issues because of the color of their skin is BS. That's actually racist." Great exchange with hashtag Crowder. Things got heated. Here's what I have to say. Granted, like all true men, of course, Vivek did suit up. Always, that's what you do in life. Steven, unfortunately, it looks like he is in a branded shirt, so that is from business perspective, that's perfect. I mean, you sell long sleeve shirts, you want to wear it. That of course makes sense. Now, granted, their voices are infinitely better than mine, so without too much further ado, I'll go ahead and play that really quick right here.
Why am I the only person who can actually offer legal argument for why we should be able to end birthright citizenship without a constitutional amendment? And so the irony to me is,
I can answer that.
Yeah.
It's because of the color of your skin. And I don't mean that, I'm saying you are inoculated. You know, for someone who looks like she's straight from the hip.
I disagree with that. I'm going to be back at you, Steve. I'm going to hit you hard for that. That is because the rest of you are freaking lazy. And
Cowards.
The conservative movement has grown lazy. Cowards. People in this country have common sense. What we really lack is courage.
Yes.
So I'm not going to buy some BS that, like, my last name or my skin color insulates me. Think about it. I had to step down.
No, but that's the perception. You have balls, but other people won't criticize you.
But let's just level at this. We're having some fun here. I stepped down from my CEO of a company, multi-billion-dollar company that I founded, led as CEO, built it from scratch, wasn't born into money, and had a choice to do what every other biotech CEO was doing in the wake of George Floyd. Chose not to do it. Did not issue a statement in favor of BLM because saving this country involves some measure of sacrifice.
Yeah.
So to somebody, I get this from white friends all the time, good-hearted people. It's like, I love that you can say it because I can't. My answer is bullshit. You're just a coward. Stand up and actually say it.
Yep.
Stand for your actual convictions, because if you can't stand for your convictions, you don't have any at all.
But the issue is no one else does say it. Right, we say it on this show, right? And then we take the arrows. Let me give you a very clear example. I come from Quebec. And the reason I say this...
take the arrows. Don't cry about it. Like, that's part
I'm not crying about it. I'm saying as far as the Republican Party.
Yeah.
The Republican Party. Why aren't they saying it? I am giving you your answer. That is the answer. It's white guilt. It's not...
So we need to no
their
longer be
white
cowards.
guilt. Hold on, let me finish here. This is important. In Quebec, and this goes to Ann Coulter's point, the only people who feel they can't say it, because they've been told they can't say it, are WASPs in this country. Quebec, they created language laws. They had the language police to enforce it. And by the way, this was copied across the world. This was copied across the world. It said, oh, wow, we can do this because we want to preserve a culture, French, namely French-European culture, right, Acadian culture in Quebec. And they created these language laws, which, by the way, were discriminatory against English-speaking Canadians. No one has a problem with it anywhere else except in white United States of America because they've been told they can't. Now, I don't subscribe to that, but I will tell you this. My frustration is everyone in the Republican Party, save for you and maybe Donald Trump, it's a white guilt thing. They feel they can't say English because people say, do you mean white? And they go, no, 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 no. And they're pussies.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to know what the one nation is that's spoken in other countries? Low language is spoken in India is English.
Yeah.
So why should we worry about that in the United States of America when actually that creates coherence in our nation? And so here's what I'll say is, no excuses for anybody anymore. If you have your own convictions, speak your mind in the open, actually start standing for it. Don't assume it's somebody else's responsibility, and don't make excuses for yourself for not doing it either. Why am I the only person?
Again, I don't know if Elon thinks it's a feature or the joke is in tech is, well, it's not a bug, it's a feature you see, but the videos always seem to repeat themselves on X Twitter once you finish actually playing the video. It went pretty well. I got 709,000 views and 10,000 likes. And yeah, I would say a lot of the issues of the United States could have been solved if, conservatives and religious folks had more of a backbone, but they're just way too accommodating and just saying, well, no, it's okay. Let them do their own thing. And I was going to say, I think by now we could all agree that there's no such thing as a slippery slope theory. It's more like the slippery slope fact. And this applies to a myriad of things from gun control to, you see people having sexual indoctrination in schools for kids where you actually have, I won't even go in there because it's so viscerally disgusting. But let's look at a couple of top comments. You have Paul Zuzupa saying, quote, "It's racist to say someone can't talk about something because of their race or skin color, just like it's sexist to say someone can't talk about something because of their sex. Everyone can talk about everything. May the best idea win." They got 247 likes. Well, 248 likes because of me. Because, yeah, that's one of the most disgusting things is when someone say, oh, yeah, you can't talk about that just because of X, Y, Z. because of your skin color or your red. Supposed to be the United States. We used to be in a country where we believe all men are created equal, but the best ideals brew to the surface. Your idea is just as valuable as the person next to you. You shouldn't be barred from conversation because of things you can't control. That's viscerally, again, morally vacuous and disgusting, and yet, again, people allowed it to happen. It's terrible. One bad dude has the Office meme, and it says it's insane, and Jim pointing to the whiteboard, which I was going to say I have one right there. I was going to say maybe I'll do that meme someday, but nevertheless, it has Jim, and it says the same people that are angrily demanding that you tolerate and accept their way of life, and the juxtaposition is the whiteboard below. It says, hate you passionately for years. And that got 364 likes, which 110% is true. Devolution, quick draw meme, says, if the Constitution and Bill of Rights can't go viral in America, then what are they really fighting for? I was going to say, I have to like that now. Thanks to me, it now has 56 likes. Ryan Wolitsky says, quote, anyone dividing people on their skin color is racist. It doesn't matter if you're trying to level the playing field or not. Fighting an imaginary racism with more racism isn't the answer. Unquote. Getting 102 likes, which, again, I mean, people used to say back in the day, 2 wrongs don't make it right. You have Cattle Harris saying, what I want to know is, do you think Anne's feelings about voting for you is an isolated case or general consensus among white voters? Because you have deflected the conversation from you are not and will not be accepted in terms of you desire freedom of speech and cowardice. This is why they allow you around, because you say what they can't, but they never truly accept you totally. You'll never be president of the United States. Vivek, do you understand that? And granted, she says and looks mentally vacuous in terms of course she has a political science degree. Of course, one of the most useless degrees on the planet. And he only got 16 likes because, again, I know a lot of people who would vote for Vivek because, again, in my opinion, he had great policies, and truth be told, I think he had a little bit of a libertarian in him, so to say. And again, anyone who's willing to shrink the federal government so their taxes go down, I'm a big fan of that. Especially his stance on the Second Amendment. If he won the Republican primary, I'm trying to remember last time I donated to a politician. I'd certainly vote for him at the end of the day. And she's saying, and yeah, in terms of reality, there are a couple people who probably won't vote for him because of his skin. You do that. Those people are disgusting and racist. They're always going to be around. Can't control their brain. The most you can do is hope that they change. Just, if anything, with the exposure, just hang out with them, introduce them to cool people, and show them, not everyone's just. Show them that, everyone is an individual. Treat them as such. Don't judge someone until you get to know them a little bit. Now, of course, did she get completely ratioed? No. So someone did respond to her. They only got 5 likes. Let's see here. Drew Jones responded to her saying, and of course it's an isolated case, not isolated to this only one, but it's certainly a minority opinion. Vivek leads every poll for those who the Trump voters want as vice president. He didn't have a chance at the primaries because him and Trump have similar voters and they love Trump. Getting 5 likes, which, yeah, when Vivek was still running for the Republican primary, almost about half the comments were all saying, we love you for the 2028 election. And a lot of the comments said, we love you as a VP. Because again, a lot of those same people, it's not a coincidence that Vivek has, I think, many policies and many beliefs that Trump has as well. Which again, when you're trying to run for president, you really need a compelling reason to, have people choose you in the primaries. And he was just so similar to Trump. I think that's why he never really got that far ahead. I think he peaked about 11.5% in the poll aggregator, which again was a lot better than Chris Christie. He rolled, well, I was going to say walked, but let's be honest, he rolled to about 3% in the poll aggregator at his peak. Let's see here. Scrolling down more and more. It's about 1 minute more of the interview. News No Man says more from the interview. Let's see here. Yeah, why not? They got good voices. We'll play this extra minute here.
I think the reason we didn't have a red wave in 2022 is not because of abortion. It's not because of Donald Trump. It's because Republicans fell into this trap, criticizing the radical Biden agenda. And I've done that. You've done that. But it gets stale after a while, really. Biden gives us an endless list of things to criticize. We did not have an alternative vision that we actually stand for. I'm not talking about metaphysics and philosophy. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about actual affirmative policies that we stand for. Standing for merit, standing for free speech, standing for the rule of law, standing for actually making sure that bureaucrats we never elected aren't the ones running government. That's a vision. Those are things to stand for. But sitting around criticizing the radical Biden agenda or the progressives on their own terms is fine. It's important. It's necessary. but we can't do it at the expense of forgetting what we're fighting for. And I think that's the mistake that Ann may have made, though I respect a lot of what she said. I think the reason we didn't have...
That did get 51 likes. Yeah, Jeffrey Miller saying, great points. Convictions that people are too afraid to articulate aren't convictions at all. Uncle gained 20 likes. Sir Majesty says, true people lack courage, gained 58 likes. Ian Strong says, great conversation, gained 54 likes. Let's see here. Brady Upula says, GOP is plaguing from both white guilt on one hand and deep racist bigotry on the other. Can't win either way. Interesting. A contrarian statement. There are a couple. I got 36 likes. Someone by the name of Small Government. Good name. They say we should require birth certificates to contain the nationality and residency status of the parents. That would clearly identify the magnitude of the issues, getting 9 likes. Here's case in point, people liking him as VP. Bulldogs for Vivek says Vivek for VP period, getting 114 likes. Let's see. Jonas Grindenberg says, I speak on issues of color all day long. And he posted the statistics on, let's see, what's this? Suspects per 100,000 inhabitants by nationality. This went viral, I think, last week. And noted that the government wants you to hide from you that Afghans are 7.9 times more likely to be suspected of a crime by the police in Germany last year. That got, well, not too many. They only got 2 likes, but he did say it. Herring says, what an important issue, gained 1 like. Tracy Robinson said again, Mr. VP, or Vivek Ramaswamy, gained 24 likes. So it'll be interesting to see, again, this is a little bit of a political and cultural issue. If people ever move back to the point where, and again, everyone's word is equal, everyone has equal opportunity to critique, to say whatever the heck they want without being socially ostracized or culturally canceled. I certainly hope so, because at the end of the day, I mean, that's what our founding fathers wanted. I mean, there's a reason those beautiful words ring with such a beautiful tone of freedom. And all men were created equal. One of the most best preambles ever written in history. But let me know in the comments. I mean, I've certainly seen this throughout my life. And we have some conversations, in private, and they'll say, "Oh no, heaven forbid, I never actually say that on LinkedIn or in public or anything like that." And we see this a lot with the DEI and the hiring practices, which are technically illegal, where companies are choosing people based on things they can't change, such as their gender orientation, and as well as their gender or their sex. You know what I'm trying to say. And yet, most people on LinkedIn are too cowards to say anything, because again, they think they'll never be able to get a job. And in some cases, that actually is true. Some businesses will identify and look at your social media history and say, well, we're not going to hire Bobby because he has that policy restriction. But as always, let me know in the comments. I would be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a comment or a thumbs up, thumbs down is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.